Welcome, everyone. Hi. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me make sure you could hear me well. All right, welcome to the 17th annual graphic novel making contest. Let's give it a round of applause. My name is Elizabeth Castañeda, and I am the Public Information Manager for the San Jose Public Library. I'm thrilled to have the honor of emceeing this grand event as we celebrate another year of our graphic novel making contest in our beautiful City Hall Rotunda and council chambers. This contest inspires artists of all ages to get creative over the summer by developing their very own graphic novel for a chance to win amazing prizes and the opportunity to have their creations published. We're all here today to recognize and celebrate all of the creators who entered the contest this year. It's always incredible to see what a wide range of talent we attract. This year, we received a total of 272 entries in 5 different age categories, which is a 40% increase from last year. So this contest, yes, round of applause. This contest is just growing in popularity, and hopefully next year we'll have even more, and ready to say we've grown by 100% in by when we celebrate our contest in for the 20th anniversary. But today's the 17th anniversary, so we're here today to announce the winners in each of these age categories. Entries were judged on content and illustration by a panel of industry professionals, community art members, and library staff. The winning entries were published in a booklet and will be made available for checkout in our library system. Contest winners will receive a copy of the booklet in their prize bag. Extra booklets will be made available to contest participants while supplies last. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, be sure to stop by the information table in the rotunda after the program to claim a copy. We will also be making a digital collection of the submissions available through sjpl.org with your San Jose Public Library card. How many of you have a San Jose Public Library card? Raise your hand. Yay, awesome. All right, so with your San Jose Public Library card, you can view your comic submissions and all contest entries in this digital collection, which will be made available starting Wednesday, September 17th. So feel free to tell your friends and family that you're a published comic creator. Yay! All right, so now before we move on, I would like to recognize and thank our sponsors who supported the contest in a variety of ways. This year, we received several generous donations, resulting in over 1,000 books and items for our contest participants and winners. From providing amazing prizes, art supplies, supporting programs, and helping judge contest entries, we couldn't have done it without you. We'd like to give a big thank you to the San Jose Museum of Art, Sakura of America, one of our longtime supporters sponsoring the contest for 12 years, Scarf Comic Newspaper, Elusive Comics and Games, Freeman Books Award, The Tech Interactive, Jet Pins. Along with our sponsors, we give special thanks to these individuals for their ongoing support of the graphic novel making contest and their assistance as volunteer community judges. Let's give our sponsors a round of applause. Thank you. All right, so I would also like to recognize our dedicated staff who have helped make this contest a huge success, including the members of our graphic novel making contest committee, the SJPL marketing team, and our summer learning committee, which, if you guys don't know, this is a labor of love. They have been meeting for 6 months consistently to plan this event. This is, something that they've devoted a lot of time, and I think that we know that all that time really is valued, and we could see the response from the community because of that 40% increase that we had this year. So let's give our graphic novel making contest committee a round of applause. So they're going to take a little break, and then they're probably going to get started again in January. So today we have the pleasure of being joined by a couple of talented artists and guest speakers, Minnie Phan and Jessica Fong. Unfortunately, one of our guest speakers, Nidhi Shanani, could not join us today. Each of our guest speakers will share their personal experience working in comics and animation and provide inspiring messages for all our participants. And at the end of the ceremony, everyone will have the opportunity to meet our speakers and purchase a copy of their books at the Elusive Comics table. All right, so a little bit of business before we announce our first group of winners. Upon entering, all contest participants should have checked in and received their participation packet. This packet is your golden ticket. Your packet includes special feedback about your entry written by the judges themselves, a certificate of participation, a checklist to pick up your participation prizes, and one free pass to the San Jose Museum of Art. This Museum of Art offers free admission for children and teens under the age of 17. So if you entered the contest and you're under the age of 17, the grown-up accompanying you can utilize a pass. This is also a fantastic local museum that offers free admission for teachers, students, and youth with a valid school ID. So hopefully the whole family could possibly go to the museum. Along with your museum pass, all participants of the graphic novel making contest are eligible to receive one free graphic novel and a graphic novel making contest tote bag while supplies last, which are very cute. So hopefully you guys get a chance to get one. If you have not yet picked up your free book, take your participation envelope to the prize table in the lobby so you can claim your prize. Also, several randomly selected packets include extra prize label on their participation envelope. These prizes can be claimed until 5 p.m. in the rotunda at the extra prize table. Last but not least, we would like to invite you all to attend our meet and greet with today's presenters in the rotunda after the ceremony. Participants will have the opportunity to stop by the Elusive Comics and Games table to purchase books and other fun items from today's guest speakers. All right, so before we get started, I'd just like to thank everyone who was involved again, all our sponsors, and everyone who put together the prize packet. So thank you all so much. All right, so without further ado, it's time to announce this year's graphic novel making contest winners. If your name is announced, please come up to the stage to pick up your award certificate and to take a photo. Please remain to the left of the stage so we can take a photo of all the adult category winners together. You'll be able to claim your full prize package at the check-in table in the rotunda after the ceremony. All right, are you guys ready? Yeah? I was gonna say we should do a drum roll on the laps. Oh, nice. Love it. Thank you guys. All right. Honorable mention goes to Perry Willig for the entry titled Rudy in Wonderland. All right. Perry Willig. Yay. Come in. Yeah. All right. So third place goes to Carp for the entry titled Do You Think Love Can Bloom Even in the Laundromat? Whoa. Love that title. Carp. Is Carp. Oh, you want to? Oh, go ahead. You can go that way. All right. So where is it now? Oh. All right. Second place goes to Elise Fan for the entry titled A Cloud at the Bottom of the Sea. Elise? Mm, all right. And first place goes to Iris Aya May for, for the entry titled 404 Job Not Found. Yay! So we'll take a group picture. All right, round of applause. All right, so thank you everyone who entered the adult category and congratulations to the winners. Um, Please stick around after the event as we will be taking final pictures of all the winners together. Before announcing our next group of winners, I would like to welcome our first guest speaker to the stage. Jessica Fong, best known for her cover art in DC Comics' GLAAD award-winning Poison Ivy series. Jessica also contributed cover art to Marvel Mad Cave Studios, Image Comics, Heroic Signatures, and more. Her work can also be seen in various games such as Dungeons & Dragons, Magic, The Gathering, Myst, and Marvel Snap. When the opportunity arises, she contributes to independent projects, works on personal narrative work, and raises money for various LGBTQ causes and convention and appearances. Please help me welcome Jessica Fong. Presentation, I guess. Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. I just want to say congrats to the winners, everybody who participated, parents and staff who put this together. It is amazing to see so much talent come and create something, especially when it means something so much to us and it's an expression of who we are. I'm going to move through this since I already have the introduction. So I'm going to go through a little bit of my journey and kind of how I've gotten to where I am now. And some of my inspirations, maybe some of you will recognize them. I am a big lover of Chinese painting, classical art, and I love Studio Ghibli films. So Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, I used to watch those on repeat as a kid. And as I got older, I got really into horror films, and I love whimsical, dark stories. So like Pan's Labyrinth and Pinocchio, and I love that combination of those things together. Uh, And so another big inspiration for me is my father. That's oh yeah, okay. So big inspiration for me is my father, and that's him. He is cosplaying as a character from a game. And when he was younger, he used to draw a lot too. He did a lot of aliens, sci-fi, buildings, and he ended up going into engineering. But he instilled this love in me for fantasy, thinking bigger outside of myself, and having that fun for the process of creating. So he and I, like best friends, and we love talking about new media and stuff like that. So big inspiration for me. I have a couple pieces of my own personal art up here, and the types of things that I like to explore are things that like are in between two ideas. So good and bad, terrifying and beautiful, and definitely like the idea of the sublime, which is that idea, things that can be beautiful and disturbing at the same time. And a lot of my work, I like to include like little moments, little narrative elements to kind of to get the viewers like mind thinking and working and piecing together what the story might be for my characters. So I have this plant lady up here and she has like these nails through her chest and she has all these plants that she's grown that have eyeballs and different, different little disturbing elements. And then on the other side, I have these two characters having tea and a kind of lunch together and just enjoying a moment together. But there are just these little things that I want to have kind of a mysterious symbolic meaning for other people to kind of put into it themselves. Okay, starting with my first kind of step in my like art journey. That's me, little kid me, with the bowl haircut and everything. Um, and I drew incessantly as a kid, all the time. And I think I remember drawing before I could speak. Art to me was a much easier way to connect with the world and understand it. So when people ask, like, oh, how long have you been doing art for? And I literally, as far back as I can remember. So art did get me through a lot of hardships when I was a kid, and I wasn't sure when I went to high school if I wanted art to be a hobby, just like something I do for fun, or if I wanted to go into a career for it. And my high school teacher, he's up there with me. He was the turning point for me. He was such a supportive person in my life. Then he was the one who kind of pushed me in my limits of what I could do with my art, and he saw that potential and he supported me, gave me time after school and classes to kind of nourish that. So my senior project for high school was this series of artwork where there's like a little girl, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little girl and her dog, and they're exploring this broken down dystopian world together, trying to find their place in it, which oddly was how I felt at the time, because I was like, I don't really know where I fit into the world, what I want to do. So this was kind of my way to explore that. And I made the decision to go study art in college. And I did a studio art degree at San Luis Obispo. And at the time, I thought maybe I would go into gallery art. So, like, showcase my art in galleries and do like traditional oil paintings and pencil work. And yeah, there's me with like kind of the first gallery show, and it was just my own personal work. And I included a comic page here, but I did not think that I would go into comics. This was purely just an experiment for fun for myself at the time. And as I kind of continued my art in college, I realized maybe studio gallery work isn't for me. So I tried to go into game design and do like concept art for games. So after college, I started to develop a game with a wonderful team of people. And it was called In the Keeper's Shadow. And it was supposed to take all that art that I had made when I was younger and in high school and turn it into a game experience. You can't see it, but these are a couple of frames from the game where you play as a little girl called Emmy, and she is again exploring this like broken down world. And you would play as her, kind of helping her discover her way and who she is in this kind of world that doesn't like understand her. Um, And I wanted to show these. These, I know they're kind of small, but they're all the little storyboards for each scene that would happen in our game. So like what the character would be doing, what you would be doing as the player in the game, just all the like story beat elements. And I wanted to show this because every single step of the way is a creative process. It's a back and forth with our team, and you're creating something with other people who are just as passionate about it. And there's just this sense of community with that, and you're like creating something and it takes a lot of work, but it is so much fun and fulfilling, and to see all of these storyboards together and then to see those final scenes in the game realized, it's like a special kind of pride. uh, And I'm moving on from the game because when COVID hit, a lot of our team members kind of went in different directions with life and their art careers, and that was the same for me. We took a hiatus on the game, and I continued, doing work and illustration for different companies. And my work had found its way into like a fantasy art book for that was like an annual that they would collect all these artists and put it in. And there was an editor at DC Comics who was just like flipping through this book and came across my work in there randomly and was like, oh, let's reach out to her and see if she wants to do some work for Poison Ivy. So when I got that call, I was actually really nervous at first because I had never done anything for comics up to that point. And that was in 20, like end of 2021. So comics is a very recent and new thing for me. Um, and I love Poison Ivy so much as a character. And being LGBT and her being LGBT, it felt like a right step for me. So I said yes. And We are at, I think I just wrapped up cover 40 right now for Poison Ivy, and I have some of the sample covers up there. Oh, so talking about like these talented people that we're always working with, these concepts are from Artsio. He's the interior artist for Poison Ivy. He does like all the panels, sketches, line art, and these are his concepts that he would give to me, and then I would use those for the covers to make sure that Poison Ivy stays consistent. And it's just wonderful being able to work with the artist and the writers and just everybody who's a part of that whole process. Okay. I wanted to show this one because just wanted to show a small little bit of my process here. Um, they tend to give me an idea of what like the story for the issue will be, and then I get to kind of run wild with it. I've really enjoyed the ability to have that freedom that they've given me, and I will put out a couple sketches of what I think they want, and then like I have a little bit of 3D up there because sometimes we need some help, so I go into 3D and like mock up some things sometimes. And then I'll give them some color roughs and they go in, pick one, approve one, and then it goes out to print and they put the logos and dressings on it and then it's out into the store. And I just wanted to show a little bit of how that works. And same for this one. I just included these because it's something different. This is like a much darker scene and it's like zoomed out versus like having the characters be so close. Uh, Okay. So moving on from Poison Ivy for a second, DC Comics also hires me to do like other cover work for them, not just for Poison Ivy. And when I got the call to do Spirit World covers, I immediately said yes because Spirit World they introduced a new character, Xanth, who is a non-binary character, and then is also Chinese American. So I was just like, I need to do these covers. So they hired me on to do a Pride cover, and then the middle cover there, I like touched back into some of my memories as a kid going to Chinatown in San Francisco with the slanted streets, and then there's like a shrine up in the window and like buying buns at the market. Like that is such a core memory to me. And for DC to let me put that memory into one of their covers just meant a lot to me. And then the one on the far right there, going to the graves to visit our ancestors and give them offerings. It was just a trifecta, kind of a perfect way for me to kind of be a part of it and put myself into the work. So I'm including a couple of these. These are recent. These are from the Spider-Man and Magic the Gathering crossover for Wizards of the Coast. And I just wanted to show that like I don't just do comics. The background that I have in games still comes through even now. So this crossover between comics and games, that has been like a very fun thing for me to explore. So these are the couple of illustrations that I did for them. And more work, The Zone, which was like an RPG horror tabletop game, and then a picture there from Dungeons and Dragons that I did for one of their handbooks. And I don't just do comic covers, I also do covers for like books and stuff like that. So Dream Slinger there by Gracie Kim. That one is for like young adults, younger children, and I got to kind of just tap into this fantasy element that I'm just really happy I got to explore in a different medium than just comics. And then the one next to it, The Wander, uh, that one is a personal book that I put together. So with all of the commercial work that I do, I still want to set time aside and make my own stuff. So Wander is a book that just has my explorations with like narrative and comics and my own sketches. Uh, so yeah, these are a couple of like the sketches of the comic pages that I have in there from a personal project that I'm working on about two people who work at a cafe and they sell tea and coffee to like lost souls. So that's something that I just work on in the background. And then these are a couple of my like personal pen and ink sketches. I don't do a ton of traditional work anymore with pen and ink, but when I do, it just kind of gets back into that flow of like, these are the types of things that I really like. Like I love line work, I love flowy things, I love things that are this dark and whimsical, beautiful uh, kind of visual. So I just wanted to show those, even though I went into art as a career, I still very much do it for myself. And I just have some like parting words for everybody here. One of them being kind and gracious to yourself. Art is a lot of work for everyone involved. And when your body and mind tells you to take a break or to step away or try harder, try less, like listen to yourself. And that inspiration can come from anywhere and any place, anytime. It can strike you, when you least expect it. So those are the kinds of things that I really live for. Just being able to see inspiration in everything, whether it's like a lived experience, something that I've, just seen or read. Uh, yeah, that's just kind of a joy to keep learning. And taking the time to kind of look back at what you've accomplished, because I think we're sometimes so focused on the forward and the now that we forget how much we've actually done. I know that I suffer from that a lot. So sometimes I like to take a step back and be like, oh my gosh, I've actually done quite a bit. The imposter syndrome in me is wrong. And then just that last bit that you are not alone. And all of you here having created something inspire me. And I hope that I was able to inspire you a little bit. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, let's give it another round of applause to Jessica Fong. Thank you again for joining us today, Jessica. All right, so teen winners. It's now time to announce the winners of the teen category. If your name is announced, please come up to the stage to pick up your award certificate and to take a photo. Please remain to the left of the stage so we can take a photo of all the teen winners together. You'll be able to claim your prize at the check-in table in the rotunda after the ceremony. So you guys ready to do the drum roll again? All right, let's do it. All right. Without further ado, first honorable mention goes to Elliot and Oliver Yao for the entry titled Taco Ramen. Thank you. Right. Yes. Second honorable mention goes to Catherine Y. Lee for the entry titled Power of the Blank Page. All right. Third place goes to Laura Brunert for the entry titled The Story of a Siren. All right. Second place goes to Claire Chen for the entry titled Shackled to the Moon. All right, everyone. First place goes to Adrielle Walter for the entry titled Not So Bloody Mary. Yeah. All right. Thank you to all who entered our teen category and congratulations to the winners. Please stay after the ceremony for a group picture. All right, let's continue to celebrate our amazing participants by announcing the winners in the preteen ages 10 to 12 category. Winners, when you come up, you will pick up your award certificate and take a photo. Please remain to the left of the stage so we can take a photo of all the preteen winners together. You will be able to claim your full prize in the rotunda after the ceremony. All right, you guys, let's do the drum roll again. First honorable mention goes to Ramin Misir Sarwar for the entry titled Lava Lad Black and White. All right. Second honorable mention goes to Jack Nguyen for the entry titled Henry and Joe in Parachute. No, Jack. All right, we'll have to let him know. Um, Third place goes to Selena Yang for the entry titled The Days of a Bobaholic. No, what? All right. Um, all right. Second place goes to Eleanor Wang for the entry titled Out of Tune, A True Story. All right. Yay. All right. And first place goes to Vivian Hong for the entry titled Unicorn and the Ugly Trash Stealing Bear Named Bear. No. All right. Well, we'll have to let our winners know that they have to come pick up their prizes. Let's take a quick picture, you guys. All right. First, I need to give a big shout out to Alyssa for being our Vanna White today. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Alyssa. All right, so thank you everyone who entered and congratulations to all our preteen winners. Please stick around after the event as we will be taking pictures of all our winners together. Now I'm excited to introduce our next guest speaker, Minnie Phan. Minnie is an award-winning Vietnamese American illustrator based in Oakland, California. Minnie has done work for the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, Chronicle Books, and the San Francisco Public Library, with which she illustrated for a citywide reading campaign in 2022. Most recently, Minnie illustrated the Vietnamese American model curriculum for the California Department of Education. Minnie is also well known for illustration in the picture books, The Yellow Ow, Why I, and Simone. Let's welcome Minnie Phan. No.
Selfie time. What a beautiful crowd. Okay. Hi. These are the moments that make life so worth it. Truly. Look at your beautiful faces and wow, just meeting other artists. All right. First, good afternoon, and thank you to the Graphic Novel Making Contest Committee and the San Jose Public Library for the immense honor of speaking to you all today. Congratulations on creating an original graphic novel. That itself is a huge accomplishment. All of us have these big ideas and these stories we want to tell, but you actually put pen to paper. You actually made a comic. So I hope you feel so proud of yourself. My name is Minnie Phan, and I was invited here today to share what life looks like as a professional illustrator and writer. That's right, my job is to draw pictures and tell stories. I was born in Stockton, California, and my parents are refugees from central Vietnam. My father's first job was working in the San Joaquin Valley picking cucumbers. He was paid by the pound. He would fill baskets and baskets with cucumbers, and he would get paid, and then he'd come back home. And at that time, we had my aunts, my uncles, their kids, my dad's family, and still we couldn't pay rent, so we had to get a roommate. So there was 10 people in one house. Eventually, my mom found a job at a nail salon, and she's been there for over 20 years, 6 days a week. She takes only one day of the week off, only Sundays. My parents, they they are the core of who I am. um, so my parents raised 5 kids in America, and my mom has a 3rd grade education, my dad a 5th grade education, and they put all of us through college. I saw my parents work so hard. And so what did I do to say thank you? I went to art school. I went to art school and I chose to pursue art because it was my calling. And my love for art started very innocently. I just loved to draw. I come from a working class family and I didn't take any fancy art classes. I just always knew that making art made me happy. And also, I moved so much as a kid. I went to 5 different elementary schools. All around me, people changed, places changed, but I could always pick up a piece of paper and a pencil and draw. Drawing was my best friend, and drawing was a way for me to jump into a whole new world. I could draw fan art of my favorite manga, like Naruto, Ranma One Half, so many great, great things in the world. And I could also draw stories and draw my friends. This is my art from middle school. Um, And as I grew older, my passion became my purpose. Drawing was my constant companion, something that really brought me joy. But as any young budding artist, I faced roadblocks. I always loved to draw. It made me so happy. But when I got into high school, I fell into the wrong crowd. Suddenly, my friends were my bullies. And they were telling me things like, anime isn't art, cartoons are dumb. Are you still into that little kid stuff? And so eventually I stopped drawing and I stopped listening to who I really was. And I almost failed high school. I know, it's crazy. I almost went to another high school for kids who struggled, but it takes just one person to change your life. And just like Jessica, that one person that changed my life was my art teacher. This is Mr. Doyle. He was my high school art teacher who saw something in me. He saw a fire that he wanted to keep bright. And so he believed in me and guided me to safer spaces. He opened his classroom during lunch. He listened to me and gave me a sense of home while I was at school. He was my first role model. And he encouraged me to keep drawing. These are some of my drawings from high school. I really loved comics and anime, storytelling. My life was so chaotic as a kid. I really used art as a way to process and understand the world, just like Jessica. I really feel kinship to Jessica. And Mr. Doyle also pushed me to try new styles and mediums. I made more comics and I just kept drawing. I never stopped, I never gave up. And then when I was 16, Mr. Doyle showed me he gave me a postcard. He said, you know, there's a summer program for teenagers called pre-college. You should apply. You should try going. And I wrote in the application. I did all this research. And this is before iPhones, by the way. There was no Googling on the spot. I had to get to a desktop and Google. And I remember I applied, I got into the program, and I saw the cost was $3,000. And my parents said to me, we can barely afford groceries. We're not going to let you do this program. And do you think I gave up? Do you think I said, okay? No, definitely not. I was hungry and motivated and determined. So I started to fundraise. I started to look up organizations. I applied for scholarships. I did everything I could to get into this summer program. 2 days before the deadline for the tuition, I had to find $3,000. I met one woman who heard my story and she said, you know what? Here you go. And she signed a check on the spot for the entire tuition. And she, like I said, one person can change your life. And one person, one person showed me, was able to write this check, and I was able to learn what art school was. The summer program gave me a glimpse into my future. It gave me it I was surrounded by art and artists, and I suddenly learned that I could become an artist. I come from a working class family where my parents never even graduated elementary school. I didn't know anyone who went to college, let alone who was an artist. But here I am in art school, and the people around me were passionate. My teachers were professionals, and I saw a direction. And so suddenly in high school, I had passion. And when I found passion, I found purpose. And with purpose, I decided to change my life around. So I went from nearly dropping out of high school to being determined to be an artist. And so when senior year rolled around and my peers were applying for school, community college, or they were about to join the workforce, I turned to my parents and I said, I'm going to go to art school. And they said, we nearly died on a boat from Vietnam to America for you to go paint your feelings? They were so disappointed. And they were shocked. And they said, no, no, no. And then they asked me, how much is tuition? Is a lot. But did I say, okay, sure? Did I accept the no in my life? Not for a second. I knew my parents couldn't help me get through school, but I knew that if I could work hard, meet the right people, find the right connections, I could do it. My senior year, I applied to art schools all across the nation. And then I started applying to scholarships. I learned about FAFSA. I learned about grants. I learned the process, the system that no one was guiding me through. I had to figure it out. When I graduated from high school, I got accepted into California College of the Arts in San Francisco, and I was given a full ride scholarship to art school. And I also was given an additional $10,000 scholarship from my high school. I went from nearly dropping out of this school to being given a scholarship to make my dreams come true. So what does making your dreams come true look like? It means knowing that the opportunities in front of you are valuable and they're special, and you grab them and you run. Here I am in art school. I started clubs. I started the comic book club. I became a student leader. I was so excited to be exactly where I was. And so I soaked in every moment of art school. I made comics, which I loved. It was so much fun. And I also made some weird art, definitely some weird punny stuff. Not sure why, but I did. And I'm running through these slides, but if you give me some hand signals, you want me to stop on the art, let me know. So I went to art school with complete parental disapproval, but with a heart full of passion. And I remember in art school, I was not the best artist of my class, but I was so passionate. There was something my teacher saw. So my junior year, there was this competition for all the junior year students, and one student gets selected for a scholarship. And well, little spoiler alert, I got the scholarship. Um, and I could have done anything with that money. I could have paid my tuition. I could have bought some comics. I could have, gone on vacation. And I decided that I wanted to take this money and learn who I was. I was the daughter of Vietnamese refugees who never spoke about their life, their experience in Vietnam. I didn't know who my family was. I didn't even know what village my parents were from. And so I took this scholarship and I went to Vietnam by myself for 3 weeks. I'd never been on a plane before. I'd never been out of the country. I'd never met my family, but I just knew I needed to meet them. I needed to go to Vietnam. And I'm so glad I did. This is me in front of my uncle's farm in central rural Vietnam. He raises pigs. And I mean, I'm smiling almost like this little pig. It was so cute. And I went to the village where my parents grew up, and I realized in that moment, well, it changed my life, first of all. Again, just my life is constantly being impacted by art. I had this moment when I was in Vietnam where I realized I wouldn't be exactly where I am if I hadn't continued to pursue what I love, what excites me, if I wasn't an artist. And I realized in those moments walking through this village that my role as an artist was not just to draw pictures, but to tell stories, to tell the stories of my community, to tell the stories of my family, to tell the stories of young girls lost in high school, but so determined to be so much more, to draw, to paint. And I also left Vietnam determined to use art in a way that really mattered, with purpose. And this is actually a photo from I had no cell phone at the time actually. I only had a point and shoot digital camera. And this is the moment where my cousin's motorbike ran out of gasoline and he left me in the middle of rural Vietnam by myself. And I remember this is the moment where it also clicked to me that I was going to be an artist forever, whether I was being paid to do it or not, that I'm an artist for a lifetime. And also, what I cared more about anything was aliveness. You know, cool doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be cool. But what you what is important is to feel alive and to run towards what aliveness is to you and to surround yourself with the people who encourage you to feel alive. And so these thoughts, these deep feelings, they go beyond college degrees, beyond careers. They're lessons we take for a lifetime. And so, how did I do it? How did I jump from being a art student to being a professional artist? It was constantly running towards what excited me. And so today, I'm a professional illustrator and writer. I've worked with the San Francisco Museum of Art, Starbucks, Airbnb. I painted a 250 square foot mural for Google. I've been recognized by the New York Times, Society of Illustrators. The list goes on and on. I could say it all. Some of you may have been in San Francisco a few years ago where I did this huge program. And my art was on 28 library buildings, 100 bus shelters, thousands of tote bags. And there was a moment where my parents suddenly saw what I was doing was a real career. It was so beautiful. It took 10 years, but hey, they turned around. um, oh, and last year, I went on tour with a Pulitzer Prize winning author, and we visited several cities, libraries, literary festivals, countless communities, countless books. Um, we can chat about it, you know, when we do the meet and greet. But I wanted to show you some of my artwork that I've created in the last few years as I've really held on to joy and excitement and the love of art. My work centers creativity, joy, and play. I work with color pencils, watercolors, digital media, whatever I can get my hands on. Sometimes I make comics, and these are actually comics that were used by a nonprofit to communicate legal rights to minors. So that means there are children who are 4 years old representing themselves in court. So many of them are undocumented, and my comics are what the lawyers use to communicate pathways they can use to navigate the system. And it's so beautiful that my work really is impacting lives while also being joyful and fun and playful, colorful. Sometimes I animate, no matter what I'm doing, I'm having a lot of fun and I'm learning the whole way. Actually, I took one animation class in college and it was all I needed. If this were a different screen, you would see the character jumping and drinking boba and having fun. So use your imagination, start activating that brain. Um, and I also have a beautiful art studio at home, and this is where I work. And actually, just to give you a full idea, so you're seeing my work, and you're seeing this is where I do my digital artwork. I have books, I've got my lamp, and here's another area of my studio where I do watercolors. And you might see, does anyone see that little creature on the bottom under the desk? Yeah, that's my rabbit, Momo. And I know y'all are asking the really big questions. So truly, my home belongs to her. I am but the janitor. You're probably here to get inspired, being an artist, telling stories, making comics, but what we really care about is rabbits and and answering big rabbit questions. Like, what do rabbits do all day? I know. I want you to know, my rabbit is free ranged in my art studio. That means she just runs around on the ground while I'm drawing and painting, which is why she has to have some dedicated slides. So, what do rabbits do all day? They eat, they sleep, they check email because I'm sorry, all of us have to check email, and they sleep some more, and they read. This is very important. Momo is my good friend. She keeps me company in the art studio. So speaking of reading, so as an artist, I have gone through the journey of holding on to being an artist, which I think is one of the biggest challenges to having a career in the arts, is to really believe in yourself. You have to be your biggest cheerleader and really trust that what you want to do in the world, whether it's comics, drawing, or something like math, science, engineering, that's also okay. Hold on to it. Hold on to what you love. And what I've loved from the very beginning was storytelling and books. So here's an example of some of the books that I've illustrated. And this is a look at some pages from Simone, where I really got to combine what I love: picture books, storytelling, work for children, and comics. And I wanted to end my presentation on this spread from Simone. Simone is a storybook, is a comic, or it's a picture book about a young girl and the power of art to change lives. In the book, the illustrations are mostly in black and white with pops of color. And I want to end on this slide because in this moment, Simone is thinking about what's happening in her life, and she's thinking about art. And once she begins to think about art, color returns to her world. And I wanted to share that in the past, my parents' disapproval was really painful. I really thought it was a lack of love. But I see now that what their true gift to me was being my first example of resilience. Resilience is what helps you start over in a new country. Resilience is what pulls you through the darkest days. Resilience is what you and we as a collective have during these immensely challenging times. To be resilient means to bounce back when you fall down, to keep hope when you feel fear, and to know deep within you that you are capable of achieving your dreams, whatever they may be. If you can foster resilience, you can foster success. So take the comics you made this summer and run. Run towards your dreams, run towards creativity, embrace what excites you. You will surprise yourself. So congratulations again on being part of this year's graphic novel making contest. I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see what you make next. Thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Minnie Phan again. Thank you again for joining us. We definitely have two very inspiring stories today. Hopefully everybody's feeling inspired. You guys feeling inspired by our artists? Yeah. Thank you guys. All right, so it's now time to announce the winners in the children ages 8 to 9 category. Winners, when you come up, you will pick up your award certificate and take a photo. Please remain to the left of the stage so we can take a photo of all the age 8 to 9 winners together. You'll be able to claim your full prize in the rotunda after the ceremony. All right, you guys, come on, let's do the drum roll again. All right. First honorable mention goes to Luke Ma for the entry titled Buff Lifter Showdown. All right, Luke's missing out. All right, second honorable mention goes to Nathan Lee for the entry titled Dino Adventure. Nathan! Oh, yay! All right, third place goes to Ruana Liu Paul for the entry title The Protectors of Peace. Yay! Um, Second place goes to Adam Sadi for the entry titled The Adventures of Iron Woman. Yay. All right. First place goes to Paxton Chen for the entry titled The Life as a Left-Hander. Paxton. Aw. All right. Well, we'll make sure Paxton gets their certificate. All right. Let's take a picture. All right. So, thank you to all the young artists who entered in the children's ages 8 to 9 category, and congratulations to the winners again. With that now, it's time to announce our youngest winners from the children ages 7 and under category. Winners, when you come up, you will pick up your award certificate and take a photo. Please remain to the left of the stage so we can take a photo of all the age 0 to 7 winners together. You'll be able to claim your prize in the rotunda after the ceremony. And I gotta say, ages 0 to 7, we actually had a submission from a 6-month-old this year. So they are inspired. I'm telling you, this contest is really a great contest for all ages. So let's do the drum roll again. All right, you guys. First honorable mention goes to Elliot Willett for the entry titled Al and Daddy's Golf Adventure. Is Elliot here? No, Elliot? Okay. Second honorable mention goes to Evelyn Cervantes for the entry titled Penguin and Splash. Evelyn? Oh, okay. Third place goes to Daniela Mejia for the entry titled Glooby and Slime Monster. All right. Let's see. Hopefully the next winner will be here. Third place goes to, oh no, well, second place goes to Abhishri Bhargava Kumar for the entry title Helping Planet Zumba. Oh, yay. All right. First place goes to Juno Ma for the entry titled A Big World. Juno. Yeah. I heard that they probably couldn't be here because they couldn't drive to the, just kidding. um, all right, please join me in congratulating all our young artists who entered a comic this year. Your hard work and dedication are impressive. I hope you continue to create amazing work as you grow up. All right, before we wrap up, a couple of quick announcements. First, don't forget to pick up all your participation prizes in the rotunda before leaving today. Second, All of our guest speakers will be available for the book and art signings in the lobby shortly. Books by our guest speakers are available for purchase at the Elusive Comics table located in the rotunda. Thank you again to everyone for attending, to all our sponsors, judges, and to our special guests, Jessica Fong and Minnie Phan. Thank you. Also, a big thank you to our volunteers and to the library staff for organizing this amazing event. Shout out to Justin for handling the slides today. Alyssa for presenting the certificate. Akanksha for taking pictures, which will be available on our website, so you guys could see all the pictures there. And then if you follow us on social media, you'll also be able to see the pictures there as well. And then finally, I would like to invite all our winners and guest speakers to join us on up here in the front so we can take a big group picture. Thank you.